I can't stress enough what I think that the community banks do for the state, for the community, and the nation. We've struggled really hard to keep community banks in some of our rural areas in Oklahoma. We went almost 20 years and never had a bank failure. I'm Mick Thompson, State Bank Commissioner for the state of Oklahoma. I speak from experience as a community banker for 15 years, and then I've been commissioner for over 20 years, and so I've seen both sides of the desk. And I'll tell you that the community bank is, I believe, the engine of the community. The contact with the customer and contact with the businesses one-on-one is still one of the most important things in small rural communities. Because I know that if you lose that institution, that community, you're going to eventually lose the community. So we've been able to go the extra mile to get that bank sold so that they at least have an institution in that town. And so we're proud that it took almost 20 years before we ever had a bank failure. Not that some of the banks would have failed, but to working with Gene Rainbolt in Bank First has been one of the ones who have saved a lot of communities because they have purchased some of these problem banks and turned them into a branch of a thriving institution. Because I think Mr. Rainbolt has the same attitude that I have, that when you lose the bank in that community, the next thing you lose is a school, and the next thing you've lost is a community. So they're vital to the business and to the consumer. You still have that modern generation that if they can do it on their computer or through an ATM, they're never going to walk into a bank. My generation still lacks that touchy-feely, and we still see a lot of banks building branches. So if they're building branches and 96% of our banks made money last year, there's still some of that people want to be able to go into a bank and deal with one-on-one with the employee. So when they talk about, well, you've lost a lot of banks in Oklahoma because you had 300 and something, now you have 100. Well, if you look at Bank First would have 50 something or 60 locations, charters. But when they consolidate them all, now you have one. We really didn't lose 50 or 60 banks. What we did was lost 50 or 60 charters. The communities are still run like a community bank, so their model is a little different than a lot of banks that merge in. So it's important to me that we continue working as regulators, as legislators, and as bankers to make the changes necessary so that the community bank can survive.